Okay, page 3. And this with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And this with great compassion, I pay homage. And teach with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye joda zoge chonam la chanjo bado dane japsu che dage jinso kebe sonam tola benjir sangye jubare shu sangye joda zoge chonam chanjo bado dane japsu che dage jinso kebe sonam tola benjir sangye jubare shu sangye joda zoge chonam Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separation, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is afraid of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification, complete peace. Who through the knowledge of paths goes those helping achieves aims of the world, and who through the possession of nations helps subdue expand a variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated baptism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who is eliminated the web of conceptualizations, yet is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I journey the mode of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham dathagato yavatat Desham jayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessational causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-compensate. Such is the natural life Dharma I've discovered. Finding no organ in silence I'll return to Buddha. Beyond utterance, thought and expression, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of Buddhas of the three times of obeisance. Four seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent story is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expansive billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negative religious beings, nor does he remove their messages by his hands. His spiritual realization is not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all the and misery's gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If that is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, we read the identifying the mother. Where is it? Identify the mother. 182. Okay, 176. 182, 176. Okay. 182 and 176. So this is a composition on emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness, composed by a great master, incredibly realized master, by the name Venerable Dorji. And what he wrote here, he composed in China when he went to Wudeshan. Revered the place, the five-peaked mountains. The mountains range with five peaks, and that is is revered as the sacred place of Aryamajishri. And this great master, this great teacher, Venerable Dorji, he was there, and he just extemporaneously uttered these words, and reflecting his experience with emptiness. So it's so beautifully done there, recognizing the mother. Mother refers to the emptiness. It existed since time immemorial. Simply we are blurred. We are blocked from having the vision of this reality by our ignorance. So although seeing this, you are liberated. You be with your mother and all your problems will be solved. Be with your mother and your problem is solved. So likewise, be with the wisdom of emptiness, and afflictive obscurations, contrary, all are removed, and you feel the perfectly at home. So recognize the mother. Mother existed at the time you were born. Likewise, the wisdom of emptiness, or the emptiness existed since time immemorial. Before you were born, it existed, but we are blurred from seeing this reality. And so that is given the metaphor of emptiness. And so this emptiness referred to with the metaphor of the mother. We see that there is the dependent origination, or let's say first emptiness, the ultimate truth, then the conventional truth. Conventional truth, given the analogy of the father. And then how you see this, the conventional truth and alternate truth, these two are together. These two are always together, two sides of the same coin. Every object is two truths, which means these two are always together. So with the two parents, you are brought up, you are raised. But you lost the mother, not because the mother is not there, because that you are blurred of this, having the vision of this reality. And then what helps you to get there is your brother. Your brother, which is dependent origination. Your brother, dependent origination, says that our mother is there. So he's the one who is. And finally, when you discover this, then you feel that, you make all the complaints, grievance, express your grievance to your mother, saying that you are the one who is the ultimate source of joy, happiness for me, but you betrayed me. Not because you betrayed me, it's actually my ignorance betrayed me from seeing you, and so forth. Seeing you, I'm liberated. Not seeing you, I'm in samsara. Without you, I suffer. So without the child, without the mother, the child suffers. With the mother, the child is liberated. Okay, this is a beautiful poem. Okay, let's read this together. So what is that? Emptiness is, the mother's emptiness. Conventional truth is the father, and the brother is dependent origination. Okay. Recognizing the Mother, a song on the experience of the middle way by Venerable Changyarul Dorji. Emma, he who reveals and bears the wonder of profound dependent arising nature. O my Guru, your kindness is indeed boundless. Kindly reside in my heart as I utter these extemporaneous words from the thoughts flashing my mind. This hapless child who has lost his old mother so long ago is about to realize coincidentally what he has not recognized, that she has been with him all along. She is perhaps the one that is and is not, and told to me quietly by my brother, the dependent arising. The diverse subject-object duality is my mother's benign smile. This cycle of birth and death, her deceptive words. O my undeceiving mother, you have betrayed me. So I hope to be saved by my brother, the dependent arising. Yet it is ultimately through your kindness alone, O mother, that I can hope to be freed. If subject-object duality as they seem to be, then not even the Buddhas of all three times can save me. But this diversity of changes is in reality my unchanging mother's expressions. Hence there is indeed a way out. Things not established objectively is the inexpressible mother. Mutual dependency is the play of deception. Just merely this is how we should understand. Not finding the Father, not finding conventional truth to ultimate analysis, is in fact the finding of the Mother. And the Father is found on Mother's lap. That is how the kind parents save me, their child, I'm told. It seems that my brother's mirror reflects ungrasped my mother's face, which is neither one nor multiple, yet a helpless one like me had no idea of it. Based on the instructions sent through wind of Nagarjuna Chandragirti, which Manjushri Garba has sent a bird to pass it on to us, averts the hardships of a long and tiring search, as I hope to see the accompanying old mother. Okay, the warning that I'm giving here is that in the process, he would identify many of the traditions, and where the, not the traditions per se, but the followers of traditions. Traditions, they are perfect. The followers' traditions, they can go into one side. So he's saying that because of following one side, then you get lost. You become unaware of this reality emptiness. So that what are the potential mistakes the followers of different traditions make? This he is fixing. So it's not fixing the traditions. Traditions are perfect. Okay, so let's continue reading this. 10. They seem to be among today's scholars those who, being caught in the web of terms, thoroughly resenting true existence, etc., seek only something with horns to be negated while leaving intact their solid appearance. But on my mother's unveiled face, such vivid duality is not found, I believe. Through excessive discussion of the mark, my old mother is likely to run away. Things exist, though not in this mode of chaos and contradictions. For the inseparable mode of our loving parents seems that of harmony and tenderness. Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Vaishnavadin, and the three Eastern masters, though labeled this mother with name as divergent, limestone-like white elephant, marked with beaming tiger stripes in the form of physical matter, a foolish lunatic monkey, an intrinsic subject, a ferocious bear, the inherently devoid of duality, yet they all lost the old mother. Likewise, many scholars and meditators, amid Sakya, Nyingma, Karma, Drukpa, pride themselves with diverse terminologies, self-awareness of non-subjective emptiness and clarity, primordial purity, and spontaneous, the true face of Samadapatra, Mahamudra, the unfabricated innate mind, neither existent nor non-existent, a mere absence of any thesis. It is all well if the target is hit, but I wonder what you are all pointing at. And as external matter is not dismantled, Vaibhashika, worry not and be pleased. Though without self-cognizance, cognition and cognizance are tenable, all Vaishnavadins all be pleased. Though without intrinsic nature, dependent relation starkly remains, be pleased too, the three Eastern masters. Three Eastern masters is Sautrantika Madhyamikas. As clarity and emptiness can be held as uncontradictory, upholders of pupil instruction hold doubts no more. Though primordially pure, good and bad are feasible, the knowledge bearers need no clinging to purity. Though one meditates through contrivance, the innate dawns, the elderly meditators need no insistence. As the absence of elaboration of existence or non-existence can be accepted, the stubborn logicians need not fret. All this occurred perhaps due to unfamiliarity with the standard conventions. For those lacking extensive study, it is not that I have no respect for you. Please pardon if offended. Though I am not an all-knower, yet have expertise in the ways of riding the well-bred horse of my ancestors' works. Through an enduring, persistent exertion, I hope to get over the impossible cliff. No search is required for the sake, is it? Never grasp it true, for it is false. Yet this falsity should not be dispelled, for it is real. Well deserved is the respite, the freedom from the extreme of eternalism and nihilism. Though lacking the coveted experience of directly seeing the mother, I feel as though I am seeing right in front of me the kind parents lost for so long. Great indeed is the kindness of Nagarjuna and his disciples. Great indeed is the kindness of Venerable Lobsang Taba. Great indeed is my Guru's kindness. In return, I revere the mother. By the joyous celebration of all noble deeds, through the meeting of the young child of awareness, with this unproduced and inexpressible old mother, may all mother sentient beings be led to the lasting joy. I will Dorji perform here this joy, a dance of ecstatic joy to please the three jewels. Okay, we'll turn to page, I think page 4. Page 4, where we last time just touched it. Just the verse composed by Nagarjuna as a word of salutation to the Buddha Shakyamuni in his classical work, Mula Madhyama Karika, Fundamental Wisdom, the Middle Way. So I'm going to explain this here. This is extremely important, which I promised to explain before. We see that emptiness and dependent origination, these two mean the same. This we learned it on day 1. So emptiness, the other side of emptiness is dependent origination. It says independent origination, there's no objective, the 4 pairs. There's no objective ceasing, no objective arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no one, no sameness. So these 8 phenomena, if you reflect in your daily life, we see that somehow our mind, our emotions, all connected with these 8 the phenomena: oneness, differentness, or annihilation, and permanence, craving something to be good, things to be permanent, craving the bad things to annihilate altogether, and then ceasing, arising. Oh, now the sun is beautiful, sunshine. Then in the evenings, particularly wet, cold, dark. The sun ceases, mind goes down. So our emotions are all related to these 8 phenomena seen as intrinsically real. So when you see that, when you realize that these 8 phenomena, they're all empty of intrinsic existence, then your mind will become very firm, stable, and that will not be under the sway of the fluctuations of the emotions. So it says that once you realize this realization will give you such a freedom, and where in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, all phenomena dissolve. And what stirs our emotions is seeing things as objectively real, and the ultimate analysis makes you realize that nothing is objectively real there. So in the eyes of ultimate analysis, objectively, you will discover that all the elaborations cease. All the elaborations, good, bad, beautiful, not beautiful, and the COVID, non-COVID, vaccine, non-vaccine, the food, not good food, I like this, I like that, all these things dissolve. The way in the manner in the flower dissolves in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, all these fabrications dissolve, all these elaborations dissolve. Elaborations, fabrications, they're all the same, which means the diversity that we're seeing, they're all just on the conventional level. On the ultimate level, they all dissolve. So you feel the absolute peace. There's nothing there which can trigger your emotions. So your emotions are totally at peace. Seeing the object very peaceful, your mind is totally at peace. So who taught this peace? Which is afraid of all the elaborations. For example, say the weather is good, I like to go out. So your mind is pulled, you're affected. Weather is bad, I like to be in the house. So your mind is pushed. So this being affected is because of the things that you see as objective real. So when these are seen as non-existent in ultimate analysis, non-existent means totally at peace, then your mind will see that your mind is not affected by any external factors. That's absolute peace. And who taught this peace? I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers. Consummate Buddha means the one who has awakened fully. Awakened, who has consummated, who has completed the journey of cleansing the mind. The supreme among all teachers. What do you want? Say, what we discussed earlier, yes, I'm interested in this thing, I'm interested in that, but ultimately I'm interested in the interest in fearlessness and infinite happiness. And whoever can teach that, that is the supreme among all the teachers. So, I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace where all the elaborations dissolve. Which, in peace in what sense? Where all the elaboration dissolve, which you are not inventing, you are discovering. You are discovering that the dream, that the contents in the dream, they affect you so badly. When you wake up, you discover that these contents are all your mental creation. Objectively, they're all empty. This is what you discover. It's not that you're inventing. So this discovery of the freedom from all the objective elaborations, this is the peace, and that is taught by the great teacher. So whoever teaches this greatest of teachers, that is the Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay, this is the meaning. We'll recite this together once more. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separation, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. Okay, so this verse and this ultimate analysis, you see, also think about these things. For example, let's say the human being, right? A human being. What is a human being? It's a bunch of atoms, right? On that bunch of on the level of these atoms, there's no male, there's no female, right? On the level of this atom, there's no young, there's no old. Everybody's equally old. 15 billion years old. Everybody on the atomic level, right? All the atoms are, every single atom is 15 billion years old if physics is correct. If physics is correct, the Big Bang started 15 billion years. If that's minimum 15 years old, and Big Bang, there is the divergent views, single Big Bang, multiple Big Bang, these are there. So minimum 15 years old. Say for example, okay, here, maybe Yundala, maybe how old are you? 22. Supro? 24. Swati? 28. So is there anybody who's younger than 22? Younger than 22? Huh? Okay. 20. But your cells are, your atoms are 15 billion years old. Right? Minimum 15 billion years old. So all of us. So on that, it's very strange. On that level, there's no young, there's no old. On that level, there's no male, there's no female. Just see on the atomic level. And this reality is not also that what your mind is creating, inventing it. It's not just fabricating it. It's a reality that on the atomic level, there's no male atom, there's no female atom. Right? Because the food that we eat, there's no distinction. This male food, this female food, there's no distinction. Right? The same food you cut into in a family, the same pie, the apple pie you cut into pieces. You give one to another, you give one to the father, mother, children, son, daughter. So there's no difference in the food. And the body is just the food coming into the body. And this is made of atoms. Atoms, there's no difference. Just think of this. Where's this gender, male, female? Old, young, where is this? This all just coming from your mind, from the object, there's nothing there, right? This is very powerful, Okay, good. Where did we leave last time? 48. Okay, 48 done or not done? Not done. Done, not done. Not done. Okay, 48. If a mind... Okay, so from the 12 links of dependent origination, you try to also look at this book, The Blaze. Look at that section on the Wheel of Life. 328. Okay, for others, it is 318, 318, or 328. Okay, Wheel of Life. What we are studying here from this Nagarjuna's text, Wheel of Life is from the demon's mouth clockwise, the last wheel with the 12 segments. First, second, third, fourth. Fourth one is a name and form. Name and form depicted by the two passengers in the boat. So, how the name and form do not exist intrinsically real or objectively real. So that's being explained here. And so number 47. 47 done, not done? Done. 47 is about the form. Name and form. Name refers to the mind, and form refers to the physical body. So we have physical body, form, and the mind. So that is done. Now is 48, the mind. Name and form. Name, the mind. If a mind apprehends a form with inherent existence, then the mind will apprehend its own nature. Okay, so this is what we discussed yesterday, that why, let's say that the eye consciousness of the mind or your mental consciousness, the view an external object. It views an external object. Does it view itself? It cannot view itself. It views outside. So why is it that it cannot view itself? Why it cannot apprehend itself? Why it apprehends something else? Why? If you ask this question, then again you see that it does not have the factors to apprehend itself, and it's the factors to apprehend other things. The factors dependent upon which it can apprehend itself is missing. The factors dependent on which it can see other things are intact. Again, dependency is there. Dependency means no independent existence, no inherent existence. So therefore, the fact that the mind apprehends an object, not itself, is a clear indication that it is dependent originated. 48. If a mind apprehends a form with the inherent existence, then the mind will apprehend its own nature. So the same thing can be said in two ways. If the mind apprehends the inherent form, then why not it apprehends itself? This is one. And the fact that it apprehends the form means the form doesn't exist inherently or it doesn't exist inherently. So it works both ways. Then the mind will apprehend its own nature. Such a mind has arisen but if the mind cannot apprehend itself, it does not have that capacity to know itself. The fact that it comes into existence depends on causes and conditions. These causes and conditions are all directed towards the other objects other than itself. So the mind has arisen from causes and conditions. So it is a dependent arising which lacks inherent existence. In the same way, form does not exist truly. Object and subject, the mind and the form it sees. The mind doesn't exist inherently. Likewise, the form doesn't exist inherently because the form and the mind, these two are subject-object. There's a mutuality to dependency. In absence of the subject, the object doesn't make any sense. So this is a discussion which is being done like what? Does the moon exist when nobody looks at it? This is a very famous question, I think, in the quantum mechanics, quantum theory. Does the moon exist if nobody looks at it? Okay, so the thing is that object-subject, these two are mutually dependent. And independently, the object-subject cannot exist. Okay. 49. The kind of form which is risen but not ceased to exist, that I've explained, is not apprehended by each moment of the mind. Okay, this is the translation. I would say that the okay, it's like the mind as the object. It sees the mind is the subject. It sees the object. Object we can see as past, present, future. And likewise the subject as past, present, future. So here the same, the kind of form which has arisen but not ceased to exist, that I've explained is not apprehended by each moment of the mind in the present. Okay, so the present, therefore how can such a mind apprehend forms of the, okay, so it is, can you see that which part it is talking about, the 3 times with the form or with the mind? Read it very carefully. Exactly. So it is the mind seeing the object, the form, and the form of the past, present, and future. The kind of form which has arisen but not ceased to exist, that I've explained. Arisen, not ceased. What is that? Present, enduring. I've explained is not apprehended by each moment of the mind in the present. This present is the not ceased, and has already arisen, not ceased, the present. Therefore, so in other words, the form, the present moment of the form. Okay, we'll do this exercise a little bit. The present moment of the form, the sound. Ready? Sit upright. First, what we do is that we listen to the sound. Just observe this present moment of the sound. So the sound is the form. Okay, just listen to the sound. Okay, did you hear the sound? Okay. Was there time before that you felt, I am hearing this sound? Was there time that you felt, I am hearing this sound? Okay, do it again. Okay, did you have this moment? Good. So when you said, I am hearing the sound, when you said, I'm hearing the sound, what do you think about the sound of 2020? Why not? 2020 sound is past. And what do you think about the sound of 2023? Why not? Yet to arise. So when you said that, I am hearing the sound, what is that sound? Not the past, not the future. What is that sound? Present. Okay, did you hear the sound? Did you have the moment when you said, I am hearing the sound? Which means the present moment of the sound. Yes? Okay. Now the second task is listen to sound and tell me what is the duration of this present moment. Duration. Present moment means it should have time. So tell me the duration. Okay, what's the duration? Wow. Who said it? Rahul? And who else? 2 or 3 people said together. 9 seconds. Okay, good. Okay, others? What about others? What's the duration of the present moment sound? 12 seconds. 9 seconds. Wow, I don't know how you got 9. 1 nanosecond. What else? Who else? 1/10 of a second. Cannot catch. You did not hear. You heard the sound. Pleasant or pleasant? Or pleasant. The sound was pleasant or unpleasant? Very pleasant. It's shorter than 1 year. Much shorter than 1 year. Much shorter than one minute. Longer than 1 millisecond. 1 millisecond sound. 1 millisecond you can hear. 1 nanosecond most likely you cannot hear. 1 nanosecond. So longer than 1 nanosecond. Shorter than one minute. Okay, what's the duration of this sound? 9 seconds. Okay. Do you agree with me that the sound exists in time? And time, however small a time is, time should necessarily have 3 components: beginning, middle, and end. Yes? Okay. If the time does not have these 3 components, it is not a time. And the beginning, middle, end, when you experience the middle, the beginning is gone, past. And the end is yet to come. So, say, if you felt that you experienced the sound as present moment for 9 seconds, the middle, 3, 4, 5 seconds, 3rd, 4th, 5th seconds, with respect to that, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, they are past. These 3 moments were not what you were experiencing. And then 7, 8, 9, these 3 moments were yet to arise. That's the future. So what you thought you were experiencing as 9 seconds is actually deception. At the most, it is 3 seconds. Even the 3 seconds, you see that it's made of 3 components: beginning, middle, and end. Beginning is past, end is yet to come. The middle is only 1/3 of 1/3 of a second. So go like this, it'll become smaller, smaller, smaller. Eventually it'll become shorter than 1 nanosecond, right? Okay, and 1 nanosecond means most likelihood, say let's 1 millionth of a nanosecond, you cannot hear that sound. For example, let's say we talk about the wave, say some waves which our eyes can see, some waves which our ear can hear, right? Some waves which our ear cannot hear, whereas the bat's ear can hear, right? Our ear cannot hear. So let's say that when it's too short a duration, our say sense consciousnesses, they don't have the capacity to know this. You agree with me? Okay. So what we do is that we will. This is very important. That if possible, we try to have some first-hand direct experience. So okay, if you have any highlighter. Okay, I wrote something there. Okay, I wrote something there, and I'll show this to you. So your job is to read it and tell me what is written there. Right? Are you ready? What is written there? No. Dorji? Phone number. That's not true. Okay. So the sound you said, from what we learned is that the sound that you heard is the present moment. What we learned is that if you really heard as the present moment, it should be shorter duration than the 1 nanosecond. Right? So which means that you heard a 1 nanosecond sound. But I'll be more generous. I'll show this to you for minimum like 100 nanoseconds. You ready? I'll show this to you again. Right? What is there? What is written? I show this to you for longer duration longer than 100 nanoseconds. What is written there? You cannot see. Why you cannot see this? Because your sense consciousnesses cannot see things which are very minute, minuscule. You cannot see that. You cannot perceive it. So how can you perceive a sound which is shorter than 1 nanosecond? But we cannot deny, logically speaking, we have to accept that we do not hear any sound, but it contradicts our experiential world. Experientially, we heard something. So what is that thing which we heard? This question. What is that thing that which we heard? Object-wise, as a present moment, we can never identify something as a present moment. You're getting it? Present moment. So if a present moment, if you cannot posit the present moment, so the past and future these are posited only in relation to the present moment. Yes. So present moment, when that comes to an end, we call it past. And the future, when that comes into arising, we call it present moment. When the present is not positive, we cannot posit the present. Past and future makes no sense. If that's the case, then 3 times makes no sense. If the 3 times are not there, then the composite phenomena makes no sense. Because composite phenomena are impermanent. Impermanent means change. And change makes no sense if there's no time. If the composite phenomena is not there, non-composite phenomena makes no sense. Composite, non-composite phenomena, these two are mutually dependent. So then if composite and non-composite phenomena are non-existent, nothing makes sense in the universe. Okay.
When you say this, does this mean, for example, we watch a film, right? So when we watch a film, they have a frame. It's like 25 frames per second.
25 or 24?
24 frames per second. So if you just maximize the frame, things become slow, things become fast.
Yes.
So are you trying to say what is happening in front of us because of a certain speed? That's why we cannot catch the present moment. That is so small.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what is present is actually the past. What is present is actually the future. No. So what we are seeing right now is actually the past.
Okay, so but the Shashank, right?
Yeah.
But Shashank is saying is that the object that you are perceiving as a present, so short duration, is so fast that instantly becomes a past. So what he's saying is actually the past, right? So this is what Shashank is saying. And let's say that the object that you are seeing is 1 millisecond duration. Subject that is seeing is also 1 duration second. 1 second duration. 1 second duration subject. 1 second duration object is seen by 1 second duration subject. So as the object changes, the subject also changes, right? In parallel, yes. So the point is that this is something that we have to analyze. Yes, what you said is indicated in Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Bodhisattva Shantideva indicated how the impermanent phenomena, how can the one impermanent phenomena feels attached to the object which is also impermanent, which is so fast moving that when you say that I like this, it's already gone. Right? Okay, what he said is true. But the discussion that we are doing is analyzing only the object. What is that present moment? Even the present moment is illusion. This is what we are saying. Rachel?
Just also the fact that because there's a we're looking at something, it's in relation to the speed of light. So I'm looking at you, and there's a nanosecond or whatever. So, and the same with sound waves, and so in a way we're always living out of sync with.
Okay, so we live in out of sync with the reality. The reality, labeled reality, and the in other words, what we're seeing is just optical illusion. Is what I'm saying?
Not exactly, but there is.
There is a discrepancy. There's a dissonance there. What is seeing is not really happening at that particular time.
From this point of view as well.
From this point of view, because some of the stars, explosions in the stars, which we're seeing now, is actually what happened 1 million years ago. Right? This is what I'm saying. That is perfect. This is one thing. The next question is, let's say that the light from this pen hitting my eyes, it'll take how long? Maybe let's say 1,000 milliseconds. Let's say 1,000th of a millisecond. So now let us take broader range than this, bigger range than this. Let's say 1,000 milliseconds. Let's say 100 milliseconds. Within 100 milliseconds, this light will not affect us. So what we're seeing is the reality in that, considering that. So the question is that what is that present moment? Even from that point of view, what is that present moment? Present moment should have, present moment is time, yes? Time should have 3 components. What are they? Beginning, middle, and end. And beginning is past, end is yet to come. And the middle, if at all you have experienced the present moment, that's middle, which is only the 1/3 of what you think is the present moment. Even this 1/3 also has a beginning, middle, and end. You go like this, you can never identify a moment you refer to as this is present moment. When I ask you, listen to this bell, listen to the sound, I ask you not to think of the sound that you heard in 2020. Why? That's the past. And don't think of the sound that you're going to hear in 2023, because that is the future. So just discard all the past and the future, to look for the present, and you will never find present, because you're hearing something as a present moment. Even that is just illusion. Even that is 3 components, beginning, middle, and end. Beginning is past. Past we are not interested. End is not interested. At the middle. In the middle also has 3 components. So you go like this, you can never find the present moment. So where's the present moment? Tell me. Anyone? Yes, Jay? Huh? Which experience? Okay, happening right now. Does it have time? Time duration? Does it have a time duration? It does not have time duration. It does not exist in time. It is not a composite phenomena. Is it a composite phenomena? No, this sound is ever present, this sound. Which I don't really hit the gong. Okay, anyone tell me. Please tell me. What is this present moment? Huh? Are you sure? Yes. How long is the present moment? We can't point. So present moment is not a time. No, is it a time or not? Is it time or not? This is my first question. Time means it should be longer than 1 second or shorter than 1 second, right? Or 1 second. Present is not time. It's infinite. Present moment is infinite. So this sound is infinite. And the Subro is infinite. Subro is infinite.
the present moment is so fast, it requires it to be fast to recognize it.
Okay, present moment, is it time? Is it time or not? Is it time or not? Huh? If yes, is it longer than 1 minute or shorter than 1 minute? Shorter than 1 minute. So shorter than 1 second, 1 millisecond? Or longer? How short it is? So short. 1 millionth, you cannot see. You do not experience the present moment. You are not sure you are answering no.
After reading this text,
Did you read the text? Did you know that you read the text? You don't know that. Are you sure you don't know that? There's someone which knows that. Okay. So, but when you meet your mom, dad, don't say, I'm not sure you are my mom. Don't say that. Okay. Don't say this to your mom. They will never send you to Tibet again. Yes.
Geshe, how can we divide a movement into past, present, and or any of its parts of the composite movement if it has already we are not in it anymore?
How do you divide a moment into 3 components? Anyone? This is a question. This question. Just leave there. If you elaborate more, then the question will become, people lose the question. How do you divide the moments into 3 components? There?
Yeah, I was saying if we're talking about time because something is changing. Let's say some atoms change. Something is changing. That's why we're saying time is.
Exactly.
If let's say something happens and nothing is changing.
No, the question is, how do you divide a moment into 3 components? This question. Yes.
because moment exists in time.
Yes.
And time has 3, a beginning, middle, and end.
So how do you know that time has three components?
Because time is an impermanent phenomenon. Impermanent phenomena is dependently arising.
Yes.
And therefore, it is,
Why should it have 3 components? Okay.
because it's not because it's impermanent.
Yes.
And therefore it is moving from transitioning from one cause to result.
Oh.
Cause to result. And therefore there is a beginning, middle, and an end, and then another beginning.
Good. Thank you. Divya, how do you say that time is 3? A moment should have 3 components.
So I feel like if this movement was happening on its own, then it should exist. If I take away the previous movement of this movement, if this is existing on itself.
No, we are not saying that it exists on its own. Let's say that how can you know that a moment has 3 components? A moment should necessarily have 3 components. This is a very important question. Okay, let's say Vijay.
You need a mind.
Huh?
You need a mind to first get that.
Yes, so
There is time to do that. Then
that's fine. So how do you say that the object has 3 moments? The moment has 3 components?
So it's an impermanent phenomena. It is arising, enduring, and ceasing. These are the beginning, middle, and end.
Yes,
And
but
how many components
so we pick up only 1 moment, right?
So we
Impermanent
say
in.
arising, enduring, and ceasing. That is
So how do you know that? How do you establish that?
all impermanent phenomena have arises.
So that is with the impermanent in the gross impermanent. Yes, we have 3 moments. But what about the subtle impermanence, like the moment, 1 moment? How do you say the 3 moments? Okay, Kabirji.
Krishna building on the sheet reasoning and here like the first proposition I will put is, do you agree that 2 movements can exist simultaneously?
2 moments. Yes, of course. My moment and your moment.
Conventionally, for the way I was conventionally thinking that 2 movements can't exist simultaneously.
2 moments meaning?
Like 2 moments of time, like 2 present moments of time.
Of course, your present moment exists in time. Yeah.
Conventionally speaking, Krishna.
Conventionally, yeah. Just conventionally.
If I'm speaking, there is my present moment.
Are you saying with respect to this pen? With respect to this pen, two moments, can they arise simultaneously? Is your question?
This
With one object, with two different objects, yes. With one object, yes. Then what?
so if the two moments from a single object, if they can't
Exist
exist
co-
simultaneously,
Yes.
so which means that, and I also agree that a moment will arise, like the moments are in succession, they will continue to the moments.
Yes.
So if I take my first proposition that the two moments from say one object, they can't exist simultaneously.
Yes.
And then if I say that they will continue to the moments,
Yes.
then I would have to say that one moment has to cease for the other moment to arise.
That's fine.
And hence I am saying that if one moment has to cease for other to arise, this other moment will also cease, and hence it has three parts in that sense. It has
No.
to cease.
No. So that moment ceases, another moment arises, third moment is yet to come. So that is three components, not with this moment. Considering three different moments, there's the three components. But what about one moment having three components? Anyone? Okay, let's listen to Dr. Nirzala.
So the moment in terms of the duration and time, that cognizes in the mind cognizes the mind. So that's the moment with respect to the object and with respect to the subject. So both subject and object are involved in the dynamic of the pen. This moment in time when recognizing this pen. So with respect to the object, this pen is a composite phenomenon, which means it is burning phenomenon, so it has moments, three parts.
How?
Because it's changing.
Yes, it's changing, yes. It's changing from first moment to second moment to third moment. But first moment, how does it have three moments? Three components. Sonamla?
I'm thinking about the composite factors about time. So if one moment, times makes sense. Sorry, you have first moment and second moment. It makes sense to become two moments is when every moment, okay, the last part, ending part of the first moment will join to the second part of the arising of the moment, right? So that repeats that it will have begin and end, because without last moment, the last part of the first moment touching, joining, followed by the beginning of the second moment, then time does not flow and becomes a duration, longer duration. Now that only gives begin and end. So if it only have begin and end, then begin and end that touches, then begin, there won't be anything, sorry. Then the durations does not exist because the begin is the end itself. Therefore, in order for that moment to exist, the touching points of begin and end becomes the middle. That's why it will be an arising, endure, and cease. So the ceasing part touching the next moment beginning, endure, and ends, and that makes times compound and become flow of time.
Okay, how many followed what Sonamla said? How many you followed what Sonamla said? Huh? Rahul, you followed? You agree?
I agree. I think you really want to be what Kabir said, but it's again, goes and after three successive movements that creates a
No, Kabir is talking about the first moment, second, first moment flows into the second moment. You know, first moment ceases, second moment arises. Then third moment is yet to come. There are three components. That is in three different moments. So Sonam is trying to explain how one moment has three components. It's different. But this will come after what Kabir said. First, what Kabir said has to be explained. Once that is done, then what Sonamla explains that is to be explained. So that the moment has, this is a very important discussion. Okay, so let me put it like this. Let's say that the first moment, and then the second moment, and then the third moment, right? First moment, second moment, third moment. How this moment has, let's say how this white moment has three components. So if first forget about three components, let's say two components. This white touches with the black. This white touches with the book. There's one part which touches the black, one part which touches the black, which does not touch the book. There's another part which touches the book, which does not touch the black. If you say that these 2 points are same, there are no two components there, then when white touches the book, it should also touch the black, right? It also touch the black, which means that there should be no part which touches the book, not touching the black. So it means where it touches the book, it should also touch the black, which means it should like this. The white disappears. The white disappears. The time of the white disappears. Likewise, another object that comes, another object now the white disappears. Even the black will also disappear. The black which touches this clock, not touching the book, and the black which touches the book, not the clock, there should be two components. If there are no two components, then it should be one. Where it touches the part of the black which touches the clock, should also touch the book. If that's the case, then where it touches the clock should also touch the book. This is possible only with this, then the black is gone. So however many moments you bring in, say like the 1 millisecond, bring 1,000 of them, it becomes 1 second. 1,000 of them, and then multiplied by, say 60, it becomes 1 minute. Multiplied by 60, it becomes 1 hour. Then multiplied by 24, it becomes 1 day. Multiplied by 600, then this is how the millennium, the years, light years is distance. The years, they come into existence. So where, if there's no three components or two components in a single moment, every moment, any moment of time, then the time can never become, we cannot distinguish between short time and a long time. All should be like if there's a time, it should be short, long, it should be long, every time. So, in other words, the concept of time dissolves. So this is very important thing, not only with the time, it's also with the physical matter. Physical matter, however tiny the object is, tiny the physical matter is, it should necessarily have multiple parts. It should never be partless. Okay, good. Yes.
You gave this example of three components. Suppose there is a line which there's an A point and a B point, right?
Yes.
Straight line 180 degrees. You join it together and it becomes a circle. So the point A and point B merges together.
Yes.
Right? So then everything is a prism. Or anyway you can find number two.
So what is important is that logic's one thing. In physics, you come up with the concepts in physics that must be supported by two things. One, for that to be good physics, it must be supported by the real life experience. The empirical world. It must tally with the empirical world. In other words, experimentally, it should be proven. Then mathematically, it must be coherent with the calculation. So three things. What do become physical concepts? Because of physics, in theory, you may come with the theory. It must be supported by the experimental evidence. And it must be supported by mathematical calculation. These two things are required. So good logic, good philosophy is where that it does not contradict with the conventional world. So the conventional speaking, we say that, okay, 2022 is present. 2021 is past. Not everything is present. This is a conventional world. You agree with me? 2020 is past or present? It's past. This is a conventional world. And it operates like this. As past, 2020, we were all 2 years younger. Yes? Now we were all 2 years older. So this all the fun. It should have least contradiction with the conventional world. The philosophy with the least contradiction with the conventional world and goes deep, that is a good philosophy. However deep it may go, if it contradicts with the conventional world, then it is not good philosophy. Okay.
Philosophy at all. Philosophy means darshan, to see. So philosophy has to be an expression of what we see, not apart from it.
Oh yeah, I'm more lenient than the Omananda. Omananda says it's not philosophy in the first place. Okay. Okay, good. So in a way, what we're saying is that with the physical world, the mind interacts with the object, and the object, the physical form, say it should exist in time, past, present, future. When you cannot posit the present, then the past and future cannot be posited. Okay, this is what we are trying to learn, and this is very important. And if possible, try to do. Okay, it's up to you whether you want to do it or not do it. But if you do it, it's going to be at times it can be a little scary when you get something. It's a little scary, and if it's extremely scary, stop it for some time. Otherwise, a little scary is fine. This is the indication of you having clashed with the chronic belief in objective existence of time. Okay, good. 49 or 50? 50. Okay, there are 49. The kind of form which has arisen but not ceased to exist, that is the present. That I've explained is not apprehended by each moment of the mind. The mind does not apprehend the present moment of the form. It does apprehend. But the Nagarjuna is analyzing. Say, what is that present moment? The present moment cannot be posited. So how can the mind apprehend this present moment? Okay, so it says, apprehended by each moment of the mind in the present. In the present, there's a little bit of the translation, say ambiguity there. So the present should be associated with what is arisen, not ceased. So that is to be associated with that, not with the mind. Therefore, how can such a mind, when the present is not there, when the mind cannot see the present, because the present is not findable, how can it apprehend the forms of the past and the future? Okay, 50. 50 is interesting. It's very interesting. In all times, color and shape do not exist as two different things. Okay, let's see. What is this? This is a mind or a physical form? Physical form. How do you know that there's a physical form in my hand? I can see that. What do you see? You see color? You see shape? So color and shape, are these seen as two distinct things or just together? Okay. But are these two same? These two are one or these two are different? Color and shape, these two are different. But you see these two as one thing. Right? I'm seeing the book there. Physical form, visual form with two aspects. But what is this? This is a book. How many things are in my hand? One thing. But there are two things, shape and the color. Right? So, you cannot conceive a book without the shape. We cannot conceive the book without the color. And the color and the color and the shape, these two are very different. But as a book, it's one thing. So where is that one entity? Where is one thing as the entity known as the book? Where is that? You go there, you see just a shape and the color. And these two are very different. Right? So where is this book? Where is this book? Anyone? Kabir? Again, same thing, right? Same. Say the color is there, shape is there. These two are two things. These two are not same. These two are not identical. Two things. But when we look at it, we get the impression there is a book there. That's the one object. So where is this one object? What is really there? There are two things. It's not one.
We see color, and like when one color changes to other color, we can see shape.
Oh, that's very wise. That's wise approach. Okay, the shape, right? How do you distinguish between the shape and the book, shape and the color? Is that you keep changing the color, but the shape remains the same. From this, you get understanding that's a shape which is static. And you keep the color the same and keep changing the shape, right? Then you know that there's one color there, the same color there. This wise way of separating the two in our mind. But when you look at this, these two are mixed. This book and the shape and the color, these two are mixed. But you see as a one book, one entity as a book. Where is this one entity as a book? Where is that? If you go there, it's the shape and the color. These are very different how you segregated the two. So where is that book? Okay, wow, in 1 week everybody is saying here. Kabir, Rachel, and Ayushi. Okay, everybody is saying here. Wow, this is amazing. Not from the object. From the object is empty. It's all coming from the subject. Ipshita, coming from the subject. Wow, this is amazing. Wonderful. Okay, this is so precious. Even though it may not be coming to our mind so clearly, but this is the only choice left. When it comes to like this, we are very fortunate. We are very meritorious. This is how we have to progress. A small child when let's say the parents, when they with a huge bucket water, flour, that small child with the small baby bucket water, the parents will be very happy, right? So likewise, we are all very merry. This is how we progress. And even the greatest of the philosophers of the world, some of them had no idea. For them to say that things coming from your mind, totally unacceptable. Vaisheshik, what is that? Vaisheshik and Ijala. No, these two always come in pair. Nyaya. Vaisheshik and Nyaya and Samkhya, they have no idea of subjectivity. It's purely objective. Subjective means it's purely imagination. Okay, so this is so precious. Okay, let's see. 15. In all times, color and shape do not exist as two different things. When you look at it, we see things these two are not as two distinct things. We see things as one book. If they were to exist as two different things, okay, say we see a book there, these two are actually related. The color of the book and shape of the book, this is related. If there's two independent entities, we will not see like one book, one entity as a book. If they were to exist as two different things, then a mind could apprehend shape without considering color, or color without considering shape. So which means that without the color, you should be able to see the shape. Without the shape, you should be able to see the color. And how Ornella did is very smart. Is not seeing the shape without the color, but she is explaining to us that there's a shape there which is not identical with the color. There's a shape there which is not identical. Change the color, but the shape remains the same. This is how we get a feeling. But you change the color, again the shape with another color comes. So these two always together. Without considering color, or color without considering shape. Because these two do not exist as two different things, so therefore there is not a mind which apprehends shape without taking color into consideration, no color without taking shape into consideration. Fine. In the world, a form is known to be singular. The book, this book is a singular. Book is singular. It's known to be singular if its shape and color were to exist as two different things, two objective different things, then the form would appear to the world as two instead of one. You should be seeing two things, not as one book, not as one. So the question is, where is this one book coming from? Only if the shape and the color, these two don't exist objectively as two different things. This is a very powerful reasoning. Then the next, fifth one. Okay. It is the interplay between the three things. Last time we talked about seeing the flower. Flower is the object, your eye sense power, and the consciousness. Three things. So how do you know that there's a flower there? Your eye consciousness knows it. So for this, you have this eye sense power. Okay, so what it says here is that I has no consciousness. Is the I has no consciousness because the I is a form. The I is a form. Okay, look, see that the say you see this flower by eye consciousness, and then the say the I sense power is required as the medium. So these three things come together. So where if these three things exist objectively, then where is this I sense consciousness? I sense consciousness, I sense power, and the flower. Are these three things different, or these three are one? They're different. Of course, these are different. But if objectively different, they should be totally disconnected. If they're disconnected, then see that the I consciousness, why does it require the I sense power? Why do it require the physical form? They're all disconnected. It can arise independent of these other two. I has no consciousness, meaning I sense consciousness, because the I is a form. This is at one point when we do this analysis, instead of try your best later on, not now. Try your best to see that just analyze the way Nagarjuna explains literally. Try to follow literally. So let's say the I has no consciousness. I sense power, which is physical, not the eyeball. Eyeball is this I sense organ, and I sense power is not visible, but it's a physical. Let's not forget, it's a very subtle physical. So this I does not have this I consciousness. How not going? So how we present it, like if these two exist objectively, they should exist independently. This is how we present it. And Nagarjuna is of course present in the same way, but slightly differently. And if you follow how Nagarjuna presented it, again, let's see how it works. I has no consciousness because the I is a physical form. Because I and the I sense power, the I and the I sense consciousness. I is a physical form, and I sense consciousness is a mental, non-physical. So how can non-physical and the physical mix? These two are, two different entities. How these two are mixed, right? So Nagarjuna, in a subtle form, he's indicating that objectively these two cannot be mixed. But without seeing objectively, just see how we understand how Nagarjuna leads it. See if you can take it literally. Physical form is the I sense power is a physical form. I sense consciousness is a mental. Mental is totally non-tangible. How then can non-tangible be related to the tangible? For example, let's say when somebody dies, the mind travels. For example, somebody dies in India and takes birth in, let's say in Japan. So this mind has to travel from India to Japan. And in between, if there's the thing, Japan, it does not have to go through Mount Everest, right? Like, let's say it takes this route, Mount Everest, then the Mount Everest blocks it. No, it does not block it. The mind, this mind of the intermediate being, is not blocked by any physical matter, except the mother's womb. In the mother's womb, it gets stuck there. And it says the Bodh Gaya temple, when the Buddhas, where the Buddha became enlightened, the seed, so other than that, it can stuck. Otherwise it doesn't get stuck in any way, the mountains. No, nothing can obstruct it. So it just flows like the gold, reacting with moving very freely, or the water in the sand. It goes so freely. Likewise, the mental, it does not really get stuck with the physical. So how do they interact? The mental I consciousness, the mind, and the I sense power is a physical. So how do they, there's no relationship there. So one is physical, one is non-physical. Okay. The I is a form, but I consciousness is formless, and that which is formless cannot adhere to form. These two cannot, these two are not compatible, these two don't mix. In the same way, the form which is observed has the form. Now look, the form we can be a little confused here. Okay, the form that I want to share with you is the form as the flower. The form as the flower is the object, and then your sense power and the mental consciousness. So this form, let's not forget, in the form of the flower as the object. Then here the I, it says I is a form. That form is not the object. It's saying that the I is mental form and mental. Of the two, it is form. And whereas the mental consciousness is a non-form. So the same word comes with different connotations. We shouldn't mix them up. In the same way, the form, which is the flower noun, the object, is observed. The form which is observed has no I sense. Again, look, this form does not have I sense consciousness. How? In the same way, the form which is observed has no I sense, no I consciousness. Why? Because flower is a tangible form and I consciousness is a non-form. So these two cannot mix. Nor is it between I and form. Now the I sense power and the form, where is the I consciousness? In between the two? No. It is not there on the form because the form is a physical form. The flower is a physical form. I consciousness is non-form. Not in the I sense power because same reason. Not in between also. So where is this I consciousness? Nor is it between I and form. Form in the object form. Because I consciousness is generated in dependence. But what we say is that yes, I consciousness exists. It exists. It exists not independently, there on the form, on the object, on the I sense power, not in between, but it exists by dependence. Dependence on these two things. Dependence means not to be identified from the object, not to be identified. Dependence. So what is this dependency? Again, this question. Where is this dependency? This act of dependency, is it on the flower or on the I sense power or where? Again, not found, which means it's no matter how much you go to explore, where's the dependency there? From the object, it's not findable. So only choice left is to say that it's coming from your mind. So the mind has power. And how the mind connects, last time we gave the example, I am very unhappy. How the mind connects this. And we have a very strong feeling that something exists, it should exist from the object. When somebody says, I'm very unhappy, you just feel as like one entity that person feeling unhappy. So actually it's like several moments. Okay, but this is all connected by your mind, not from the object. Yes, Subro?
Is consciousness the property of matter or it's something else?
Okay, that is what we said is that existence, what exists is of two kinds. One is physical form and one is purely mental. Two. So these two are very different characteristics, different objects. It's not a property. It's very different. But the brain and mind, how these two work, this is very complicated. It is like the milk and the water. Milk is milk, water is water, but when you mix, you cannot really differentiate the two. There are processes by which to separate the two, but our eyes cannot separate the two. So likewise, the brain and mind, the brain is physical, the mind is non-physical. Yet these two work so closely together with the help of the karma.
Can it be realized separately?
Of course, at time of death, the brain dies and the mind continues its journey to the next life.
Giving life?
Life also possible. Many people have, near-death experience. Near-death experience, and some of which can be like stories, but some of which are very true, where you can actually count. So the person is lying on the bed, and the person will feel that he or she is just somewhere close to the ceiling from there watching down, and listening what the doctors are talking. And then the person comes out, right? Oh, you are doing this, you are not doing this, And the person, if the person said that I've traveled somewhere else, I'm not sure. It can be like just a thought process, the imagination. But when the person said, I'm watching from the top, and are you sure? Yes. What were we doing? right? And the Dr. A was telling the Dr. B, the nurse, bring the scissor marked with the yellow mark. You said it? Yes, I did say this. What the patient said and what the doctor would evaluate that's very true. And Rose said, then this indication that there is something which is different in the brain while the person is still alive. No, that's easy. So for us, for the ordinary people, for example, say for the ordinary people, we require this, the essence consciousness and then say for example, not only the essence power, we also require the essence organ for the ordinary people. When you become very advanced, then the way you are here, you can see what's happening in America. You can see what's happening in the Milky Way galaxies, other parts of the Milky Way galaxies. You can see that. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Geshe, why did you define mind as non-material? If we agree that the definition of material is not the atoms but the elements,
Yes.
which are defined in mind, so it's just more subtle than the gross elements. So how we can say that the mind or the eye consciousness and the eye, there is no connection between them. Just more subtle condensation.
Okay, so the question is, okay, did you follow what the Omananda said? He's saying that how can you say that the object, sense power, with the physical, and the mind, how can you say that they are not connected? How can you say that they are not connected? They're connected. They're connected. How can you say that they are not connected? So what we learned here, then? Material, yes, material and non-material.
Elements. So mind is also an element. We cannot say it's not material. And mind power too, it's just more subtle.
No, the mind is element, but mind is not a material element.
Yeah, but it's element, more subtle.
No, mind is existent. Then you can say like mind existent, mind exists, but it's subtler. You can say this. So simply because that, the two things are, let's say, existent doesn't mean that the two things can affect each other, not necessary. For example, like the human beings and the Gandharvas. Gandharvas can freely stay inside, go. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Okay, so good. Now we have to finish this. Yes.
We have 30 verses, please let the flow go.
Yes, we will. We will do till 12. Another 20 minutes. Okay. So where are we now? 52. Okay. So this is what. Okay, but don't worry too much. So we are finishing. The later parts are easier.
We can even start at 2:30. Yeah.
Start 2:30.
Yeah, because normally there's a gap from 12 to 3.
Okay. Yes.
So I think we can start at 2:30.
Okay. No, 2:30 to 2:30. Before, usually we start at 3.
No, instead of starting at 3, you can start at 2:30.
Yes. Okay, so we have another 20 minutes. We will carry on. And the break time, you want to have group discussion, tea, whatever, it's just half an hour. Yeah. Okay, 52. When the eye doesn't see itself, how can it see forms? Okay, this is what we discussed yesterday. That why the eye can see the physical form, but why it cannot see itself, right? So what we said is that if it is independently real, independent to see things, it should see everything. Where it sees one thing, not other things, means there must be a reason. What's that reason? But dependence on other factors. And dependency is accounted for only in relation to your mind. In the absence of the mind, you cannot explain the dependency. Okay, why? This is very important. Why? Let's say that the seed and the seed, let's say seed and the shoot, these two are dependent on each other, right? So the seed exists. Let's say this is seed, this is a shoot. Seed exists. Shoot exists. Yes. So these are dependent. The dependence also exists. where is the dependency? On the seed or on the shoot? Objectively, right? From the object, where is it? Where to identify it? No way to be identified. You're getting it? Dependency. If you say it is in the seed, if you say it is on the seed, remove the shoot, still the dependency should be there. On the seed. If you say it is on the shoot, remove the seed, and still the dependency should be there. Without the seed, how can you talk about the dependency? So where's the dependency phenomena? Only if you bring the mind, then the dependency can be explained. Without this, we cannot explain the dependency. When the dependency is not explained, then they become totally independent. Then if you see one thing, independent see one thing, independent you should see everything. Independent you don't see one thing, you should not be seeing anything. Okay. 52. When the eye does not see itself, how can it see forms? Therefore, I and the forms do not have self-existence. And then, okay, and the remaining entrances. So entrances, underline this and change it to sources. The source is a better explanation. Sources. In Tibetan, it is Geshe. Okay, it talked about the 12 sources. If possible, try to remember this. 5 aggregates, 12 sources, and 16 elements. So these 3 come in package. Always remember that. 5 aggregates, 12 sources, and 16 elements. Oftentimes the Buddha explained the 5, and these 3 things are always together. Always. 5 aggregates means we are made of 5 aggregates. Aggregate of form, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness. Okay, discrimination. Some people, some translate it as perception. This is not a good translation. This is not a good translation. I wouldn't say bad translation. I would say it's not a good translation. Perception is so naive. It's a very weak translation. It should be either discrimination. Discrimination better, but discrimination can connote something negative, but it should be understood in a neutral sense. Discrimination. Perception is so weak translation. It's not a good translation. And then the third one, aggregate form, feeling, discrimination, composition factors. Even the composition factors, people translate this as volitional. Volition. This is also not a good translation. Because it's the minimalist inadequacy. That's the problem there. If you translate the aggregate of composition factor as aggregate of volition, it is not a good translation. Okay, and aggregate of perception is not good translation. And many people translate it as aggregate of perception. It's a very weak translation. Either the person does not know the concept. Simply literally translated. Okay, so the entrance, entrance, don't delete it, just underline it and give the alternative translation, sources. Okay, the 5 aggregates, aggregate form, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness. 5 aggregates. 12 sources. Sources meaning the causes or the sources from which the eye consciousness from which the consciousness arises. What are the sources? 6 objects are required. 6 sense powers are required so that 6 consciousnesses arise. 6 consciousnesses as the results, and the 6 objects and the sense powers as the causes. Causes, sources. Okay. The not entrance is sources. So whereas the sense powers, 6 sense powers can be referred to as entrances, because this is like the entrance for the consciousness to arise. Whereas 12 sources, not 12 entrances. Physical form is not entrance. Physical form is a source for the eye. Physical form for the eye sense consciousness. Sound is not an entrance. Sound is a source for the ear sense consciousness arise. Okay, the remaining sources should be understood in the same way. 53. The eye is devoid of its own self-existent nature. Okay, let's see. This requires, again, these are some technicalities we need to keep in mind. Let's say that the physical form or your eye sense power. Your eye sense power subject to ultimate analysis to see I sense power as the self there, when the I sense power is subject to ultimate analysis. It's not there, it dissolves. There's no self-nature. Self-nature meaning that no matter who's ever sees it, you should be able to say that I'm here. In the eyes of ultimate analysis, there's the sense, the I sense power dissolves. It's not there, right? So it cannot show up itself, self-nature, objective. If it exists objectively, it should be seen by the ultimate analysis. So in the eyes of ultimate analysis, it's not there, which means it doesn't have a self-nature. So the eye is devoid of its own self-nature, self-existent nature, self-nature. Is also devoid of the self-existent nature of other, meaning that when in the ultimate analysis, the I sense power dissolves and something else comes, nothing comes, it's just vacuum. So it's not other also. It's not a self, it's not other. So this I sense power does not have a self-nature, no, it has other nature. Other nature meaning that the I sense power in such ultimate analysis, the self I sense power dissolves. And then something else comes. For example, one time when we were teaching Madhyama Avatar, Ajiji was there, and somebody was very confidently telling others that the self is not there, but something else is there. Self is not there. What is there? 6 elements are there, right? So the self is not there, but something else is there. This is also a misconception. You're getting it? But is it true or not? Self is not there, but 6 elements are there. True, not true? Huh? Not true. 6 elements are not there. But you have seen, when too close, then 6 elements, they come up.
Self is imputed on the...
Thus, true, the self disappears, but 6 elements, they appear. Yes. So it's there. No. Okay. Raise hands those who said, yes, something is there behind. Self is not there, but something is there. 6 elements is there, or something is there. Raise hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. But Ajiji said, that makes me sad. Others is fine. Ajiji was there, how many years ago? 12 years ago, right? Yeah. Tejala, what makes you think it's not there?
Because in the eyes of ultimate analysis, we're looking for, let's say, a flower, so we don't find a flower. Whatever is there from the point of view of the conventional analysis. It's not found as per ultimate analysis.
Okay, how many followed what Tejala said? Okay, many people. Wow. That's very positive. Some people said something very interesting. So when I'm analyzing this self, the self dissolves. Self dissolves. But there's one mind which is observing it. Hearing it. But there's a mind which is observing it. There's a mind which observes it. I can feel it. So not that everything is empty. Something is there. How do you resolve that? How do you resolve that?
By observing that, observing the observer, and
My subjective not
Being aware of aware. Without diagnosis, what is valid cognition?
No, the question is, although you are seeing the emptiness of self, but there's a mind which sees the emptiness of self. You can say, okay, there's a mind there. It's not that everything's empty. There's a mind there which is observing it, right? No matter how subtle you see the emptiness, there should be something which is seeing it. What is that? There's a consciousness, right? So it's truly there. So how do you reject it? Anyone? What's that? How do you resolve this? Not reject it. How do you resolve this? We said nothing exists objectively, but something is there.
Subject has to be make it an object of negation.
Say it again.
Make that an object of negation.
Make the subject of the negation, and then again there's another something's there to see that. No. Yes.
and you keep doing it.
Kate, you want to say something? What do you say?
There's nothing that is actually observing breath, we're observing the previous mind, just the mind.
Not the mind.
The previous moment of the mind.
No, not the mind. Let's say that, okay, you subject this self to ultimate analysis. So the self dissolves. You are aware that self is not there, from the object is not there. But there's a mind which knows that it's not there. That self is not, that mind is there. Self is all, but the mind is there. There's something which is observing, which knows that the self is not object real. So there's something there, right? There's always something there. How do you resolve this? This is a big, big thing. Anyone?
Super consciousness.
Oh, there's a superconscious there. Yes. Okay, there's superconsciousness watching us.
This is also accepted in the tradition by luminosity.
There's a luminosity there watching us.
Not watching, but it is.
It is there. It is there. No. The point is there's something watching us. There's something, seeing that something we said, yes, this is empty of true existence. There's something there, the mind. It is there. So this is super consciousness. Luminosity, goddess of consciousness. How do you resolve that if you are to say that there's nothing, no matter what, there's nothing existing objectively. So how do you, if you accept this, how do you resolve this issue?
But there was no end to the ultimate analysis ever.
Of course, because there's no end, there's something there always watching it, observing it. There's something there. You see the emptiness, but there's a mind which sees the emptiness. You're getting it? There's something there, super consciousness.
Is it like reduction ad infinitum and then you prove that?
No, that's fine, but there's always something there. Rachel?
Is it that mind that's observing the emptiness is dependent on what it's observing on the emptiness? So it's there because that's a relation of.
So even this ultimate analysis, when it sees the emptiness, but you know that there's a mind which sees that, right? That mind is, when you see the mind, right, that mind's there. The self dissolves, but the mind is there. Okay, Kabir? Huh?
So, I'm just wondering that would my mind know it is there without observing something? If it could not observe anything, would it still know? And I go back to the previous verses and say that if there is not a object to be seen, would the seer still exist? So that means because an effect of observation is existing, and hence that I'm establishing that the cause is existing in relationship to the effect.
No, that's fine. But you've already subjected the self-ultimate analysis, right? Now you are in the experience of ultimate analysis. The self dissolves. So meanwhile, you know that there's mind which sees that the emptiness, right? So this is a question. This is so important. Somebody asked me in a Tibetan class, a class in Buddhist philosophy taught in Tibetan language. So this is so important. Let me quickly share this with you here. So it is where your mind moves so fast. Your mind, so when you see emptiness of the self, that mind which sees emptiness of the self is the ultimate analysis. So this ultimate analysis, which means that your mind, let's say my hand is your mind. Your mind picks up the flower. Is it necessary it always picks up the flower? No, it can drop the flower and pick up the pen. You're getting it? So for example, say some of the in the WhatsApp video clips, there's some expert workers, right? Very professional workers, where they making the books. The pages, they pick up so fast. You saw that? So this hand is so like a magnet, like the first sheet, second sheet, third sheet, fourth. They do it so fast. You're getting it? Likewise, our mind is so fast it can move between ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. You're getting it? So when you see the emptiness, your mind is in the form of the ultimate analysis. And instantly you think about the mind, there's something which is seeing this. You have shifted the focus from the ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis. So without conventional analysis, you are bound to see conventional truth. So your mind is seen, not because the mind exists objectively, because the mind which observes that. that is conventional analysis. It shifts between the two. And if you become addicted to this, you think that you are seeing emptiness as well as you see the mind. Actually, these two are not happening together. It's moving so fast. Movement is happening so fast that you get a feeling that you are seeing the two things simultaneously. You getting it? Okay. So this is what we need to keep in mind.
Short question.
Yes.
Are you saying that someone who can see through this will not see, once someone is really adept will not see the conventional truth anymore?
Exactly. So this is where you are. This is one example that I gave you. For example, let's say that let's say that a person A, there is of course an ordinary person with so much afflictions, and the person A meditates on emptiness, and you are watching the person A. You're watching the person A, and then you, not only you as an ordinary person, you are very realized beings. You are in the but parasanga de para, what is that? Parasanga de level, part of meditation level, where you have realized experience, you have all the experience. So now you are watching this person A, who is just an ordinary person in the path of Gade. So Gade then should go to Paragade. What is that? Path of seeing, to see emptiness directly. So a person meditates, and then you're watching me progressing from Gate to next Gate to the Paragate, to see emptiness directly. So let's say that I stay in this emptiness directly for 1 hour without any interruption. So in this experience of emptiness, so what happens? As direct experience emptiness, that is the real remedy to the self-grasping ignorance. So when that experience sustains high quality and intense, very intense, then what happens? Opposite force diminishes. So in my mind is what? Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis. Ultimate analysis. In the ultimate analysis, what I see is the ultimate truth, not the conventional truth. What I see is all along the 1 hour, I just see the emptiness, ultimate truth. But you are watching me, what do you see? Oh, now his experience of emptiness is becoming deeper. Gade. Now Paragade, that's amazing. Now the acquired afflictive obscurations, self-grasping ignorance, they are diminishing. You are seeing this, I'm not seeing this. You are seeing this. Oh, now look, his mind, from a disturbed state, it becomes more peaceful, more calm. Okay, now it's become too calm. Seeing him directly, it's become too calm. This is what are you seeing? What are you saying? When will I know this? I will know this when I come out. When I come out, then my mind has become very peaceful because of the past experience of the direct experience of emptiness. Okay, when you become a Buddha, you don't need somebody else to watch you, right? While you are just starting with the emptiness, which is ultimate analysis, you can also see your mind directly. Your mind, all other minds directly, which means that you have direct access to all phenomena simultaneously. Thrown out emptiness? What do you mean thrown?
The moment we recognize that emptiness, if a person will meditate on emptiness and recognize, maybe this is emptiness, that's the end of emptiness?
Oh no. So it is like taking the, say, wisdom of emptiness. This is like taking the antibiotics, right? Antibiotics. You take the first antibiotics, that's the end of it. You are suffering from tuberculosis. How long should you take the antibiotics? Okay, good. Supro? Huh? Yes. Supro?
The observer, the witnessing me and the witnessing you, both the same or different?
Okay, so conventional analysis, there are innumerable conventional analysis. Observing you is also conventional analysis. Observing myself is also conventional analysis. They are very different. But they're all equally as being the conventional analysis. Yes. my mind observing Subro is also conventional analysis.
That witness in me, the observer in me.
Okay,
Observer
so this is what Kate said. Say, if you're not interested in the emptiness, you're only interested in yourself. I witness myself, is what he's saying. I witness others, there too. You're getting it? I witness myself, my mind, my mind should see my own mind. I see my own mind. So, mind as observer, mind is observed. As object, observed. So, is it the same mind or different mind? This is what Kate said. Observer mind is actually experiencing the immediate preceding moment of the mind. It's not the same mind. It's a different moment of mind. But in your mind, like what Rachel said, say the stars which exploded like a million years ago, you are seeing it today, is also like it's currently happening. So like you get a feeling that I'm seeing the mind right away. But actually it is at least like one moment before that. Which you got? Yes. No, father is the conventional truth. Dependent origination is the brother.
And how do we distinguish between the dependent origination and
So isolated wise different. Isolated wise different. Right? Okay. So many of you are very happy to see that Deja said isolated wise different. She's very happy. What's isolated different? Right? We have to study what is isolated, what is entities. You're getting it? Okay, we'll stop here. Diyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswatyata